everyone, introduce my name is Cornelia Rinisi Rahayu, Class B2 Plus PPAPK English Education Study Program, Tanjung Pura University. Here I will explain about the literature in teaching listening. This video was made to fulfill the final assignment for the Introduction to Literature course taught by Dr. Eni Rosni Jaimhum. As we know, literature is a limitless thought that produces a beautiful work and can be used in learning. Reverse in Hasyuni says that listening is a creative skill. It means we comprehend the sound falling on our ears and take the raw material of words, falling arrangements of words, and the rise and fall the voice. And from this material, we can create a significance. Listener must cope with the sender's choice of vocabulary, structure, and rate of delivery. Listening is a receptive skill. People receive language rather than produce it. Siti Mukmiatun states that listening is an invisible mental process, making it difficult to describe. Listener must discriminate between sounds, understand vocabulary and grammatical structures, interpret stress and intention, retain and interpret this within the immediate as well as the larger socio-cultural context of the utterance. What does it mean to listen, and how can works of literature teach us about listening? Of the four modes of language, reading, writing, speaking, and listening that together constitute the language arts. As a curriculum area in secondary English education, listening is relatively under theories and conceptuality. So, given the prominence of student engagement and culturally responsive pedagogy in scholarly and popular education writing, Western thought generally priorities of the act of speaking or the concept of voice in conceiving of subjects and agency, and an emphasis on finding your voice and having your say implies question about the modes of reception by which any particular voice actually might be heard. In the classroom, listening during discussion of literature, for instance, can be an enriching and even revelatory experience for students and their teacher. This dissertation, which is variously theoretical, historical, and narrative, often captures the drama of classrooms and sometimes contemplates the communities that sponsor them, grounded in some concerns of the teacher as listener as well as a sense of wonder and surprise in the literature classroom. This dissertation is a series of contiguous exploration of ideas about listening in education, educational theory, and pragmatic aesthetic, psychoanalysis and rhetorical studies, literary history and criticism, historical critics, as well as particular works of literature. While discourses about literature since at least the Renaissance arguably privileged visual metaphor for the literary imagination as a way of seeing the lives of others across distance of place and time, as well as reflections of oneself in these others. A parallel and more ancient tradition among poet critics invokes the sonorous, elaborating auditory metaphor for the experience of reading itself as a kind of listening. Listening not only refers to modes of sociality or relating to and with others in ways that manifest communicative actions, shared experience, or mutual recognition, but importantly also refers to an inner experience that some extent remains private. Listening therefore instantiates a certain double consciousness. Like the imaginative participation of reading, listening is a temporal experience of engaging with the other as such. That is, an encounter with difference that might become an occasion for transformative learning. There are many examples of literature materials that can be useful in teaching listening. such as songs, audiobooks, radio, podcasts, and storytelling. Audiobooks are voice recording of the text of a book that you listen to rather than read. Audiobooks can be exact word for word version of books or abbreviated versions. You can listen to audiobooks on any smartphone, tablet, computer, home speaker system, or in-car entertainment system. Audiobooks are usually broadcast and downloaded in the same way as digital music and video. They can also be purchased from online bookstores or downloaded free from public domain sites. Most public library systems offer audiobook downloads online. All you need is a library card. Audiobooks can be dated back to the 1930s. They were often used as an educational medium, found in schools and libraries. Before audiobooks were available digitally, talking books, as they were often referred to, were sold in physical form and analog cassette tapes and vinyl recorder. However, with the invention of the internet, a vast selection of audiobooks was available from many different sources. This audiobook is one of the literary media that students can use to improve their listening skills by listening to various kinds of stories with various genres. Some audiobook applications also provide a speed control feature so that listeners can adjust to their abilities. Alright, that's all the video about literature and teaching listening from me. I hope this video helps. Thank you and see ya!